أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Hello students, our topic for today is sound energy. Sound energy. You are all familiar with different types of sounds produced by different objects. You hear motor vehicles producing sound, you hear the horn of motors, you hear the sound produced by different types of animals, you listen to different types of speech. All these are produced by sound. They are forms of sound. So sound energy or sound is a form of energy that is produced by a vibrating object and can be detected by the ear. Before sound can be produced, an object must vibrate. This vibration it now results in the production of the sound. When you are speaking, try and touch your vocal cord. You will observe that it vibrates as you speak. So the speech that comes out is a form of sound and is produced by the vibration of that vocal cord. So that is how sound is produced. Now the sound that is produced gets to the ear, or it gets to where it is detected through the compression and relaxing of the air particles along the way of the sound. That is how sound moves from the producer to the receiver. So during the process of sound propagation, the vibrating object causes the air to vibrate. The air that is close to the object will vibrate as you speak. The air close to your mouth starts vibrating, and the vibration causes the next layer of air particles to also vibrate, and this process continues until the sound gets to the ear or it gets to the destination where it is intended to go. So that is how sound moves. The movement of sound requires a material medium. That is, sound cannot move, cannot travel through a vacuum. A vacuum is an empty space, a space that contains nothing. It's unlike light energy, which can travel through space. Light energy from the sun can reach the earth because light can pass through space. But sound does not pass through space. It requires either a solid, a liquid, or gas for its propagation. That is why the space, outer space there is quiet. Because when you produce sound, the sound cannot be heard by people around, because that sound cannot travel through vacuum. It cannot travel through empty space. It has to be through a solid or a liquid or a gas. Sound travels fastest in solid, followed by liquid, and followed by gas. Reflection of sound. Reflection of sound. Like light energy, which is reflected when it strikes an obstacle, when it comes into contact with a shining object. Sound also undergo reflection. That is, it also bounces back when it comes across an obstacle. When it comes across a hard object that cannot absorb sound, then it will be reflected. You will have observed that when you are in an empty room, when you make noise or you produce sound, you are going to hear that sound being reproduced. That is as a result of reflection of sound. Or you stay in a valley where there are no other things. when you talk, you are going to hear the repeated, you are going to hear what you have said being repeated. So that is the result of reflection of sound. So when sound is reflected, the sound heard back after the reflection of sound is called echo. Echo. So that sound that you heard after reflection of your sound is known as echo. In an auditorium, that is a hall where speech is to be delivered, or where meetings are held, or musical concert is to hold, the walls of the auditorium may produce echo if it is not well planned, because the walls are hard and whatever is being said will be reflected back by the walls of the auditorium, and this may affect the quality of the speech in the auditorium. It will cause confusion, everything will be mixed up. People will not understand the speech being delivered. To avoid the effect of repeated echoes, the walls and ceilings of an auditorium are usually lagged. That is, they are covered by soft materials like foam or cloth or wool, cotton wool, anything that is soft, because these materials absorb sounds and so they prevent echo. So this echo that we are talking about has its own application and uses. Echo. The first application is that echo can be used to determine the speed of sound. It can be used to determine the speed of sound. How is that done? Is that you are going to take the distance between you and the wall, or maybe a valley, anything that can reflect sound that will produce echo. You take the distance between you and that object that want to produce the echo. The distance traveled by your sound from you to the obstacle, and it has to travel back from the obstacle to where you are standing. It's going to travel double the distance between the person producing the sound and where the sound is to be reflected. The sound will travel to and fro. That is, it will go to reach the obstacle and will be reflected. So that means the sound is going to travel double the distance between the producer and the reflector of the sound. So if the distance between the producer and the reflector is x, the sound has traveled 2x, that is 2 times the distance. So just check the time between the production of the sound and the time of hearing the echo. So that is the time taken by sound to travel that double distance. So the speed of sound can then be determined. Speed is distance over time. So you measure the distance in meter, then multiply it by 2, divided by the time taken. We are going to get the speed of sound. Number 2, it can be used to determine the distance between two hills. That one will be possible after when the speed of sound has been known. The speed of sound in here, after it has been known, then we can use to determine the distance between two hills. You produce sound near one of the hill, then you listen to the echo. That is when the reflection from the other hill, and the distance taken is going to be the double of the distance between the two hills. So in this case, you just say distance is equal to speed times time. You are going to note the time taken to hear the echo of the sound. So the distance is going to be speed times time. After knowing the speed of sound multiplied by the time taken. The speed is in meter per second, so the distance is in meter and the time is in seconds. So the distance you are going to get in that case is going to be the double the distance between the hill. You now divide by 2 to get the actual distance between the two hills. It can also be used to determine the depth of seas. Depth of sea, how deep a sea is. You are going to attach something that produces sound, maybe a bell, to the bottom of your ship, and you now listen to the echo produced by the floor of the sea. When you hear the echo, now the time taken, the time between production of the sound and hearing of the echo is the time taken for the sound to get to the bottom of the sea and to return back to where you now listen to where you now hear the echo. So that means you are going to get the double of the distance. So if the distance is supposed to be x, then the sound has traveled 2x. So to get that distance, after knowing the speed of sound in water, then you now say distance is equal to speed times time. So the distance you are going to get in that case is double of the depth of the sea. You just divide it by 2 and get the depth of that sea. You know how deep that sea is. It can also be used to detect oil deposits under seas and rocks. Crude oil is usually trapped under sea and is also usually trapped under rocks. It can be detected through echo. So when you place your ship on the sea and you produce sound using a bell attached to the ship, you will be hearing the echo because the sound will be reflected from the bottom, from the floor, from the bottom of the sea. So there will be some point that you will not hear any echo. So not hearing echo means that the sound has been absorbed by soft materials, and that soft material is likely to be oil deposits. So when you fail to hear the echo, that gives a suggestion that there is oil under that particular place. So that it can be used to detect oil deposits under seas and under rocks. Also, in fishing, it helps to determine areas with large number of fish. When the sound is produced by the bell attached to the ship or boat, the echo will be heard because it will be reflected from the bottom of the river or sea or ocean. So when you get to a particular point where you do not hear the echo very well, you do not hear the echo at all, there is high probability of having fish under that region because the body of the fish absorbs sound. It does not produce echo. So this is where we are going to stop for today. For now, the assignment will be given out after the subsequent lecture. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.